So welcome everybody. Thanks very much for joining today's webinar. Before we jump in, I will spend a brief couple of slides just to quickly introduce myself and Essential Flavours for anyone who's not acquainted. So we are Essential Flavours and we are your partner in taste. Your partner in taste is not just a slogan, it really defines Essential's whole approach. We pride ourselves on our openness and transparency, which means our doors are always open to you at any time, and we actively invite our customers to tour our facility and work in our labs. We really believe that collaboration is important because when you grow, hopefully we grow with you. And that's a huge incentive for us to get to know you and tailor an approach just for you. Today's webinar is just one example of how we share our knowledge. Flavour is a complex area and we're happy to educate and with knowledge that you guys can keep forever. There are no strings attached to that. So that's a little bit about who we are. In terms of what we do, we are a full service flavour house based in Melbourne, Australia. We have over 35 years experience manufacturing predominantly sweet flavours, and we're incredibly proud of our service-driven approach, which puts you in direct contact with the right experts in our business. Oops. And just quickly about me, I'm Jonathan. I'm formerly a food tech at Essential before taking on the role of marketing manager here. I've spent much of my career working in or adjacent to food, whether that's in retail or hospitality marketing, or getting my hands dirty or more likely burnt working in kitchens and on food shoots. If you wish to contact me, you can scan the QR code here. It's a link to my digital business card. I've also got my information at the end of this presentation. Okay, so let's jump in. Some of you might be wondering exactly what Expo West is. Expo West is the United States premier convention for emerging and pioneering food, beverage, and supplement brands across the world. It has a major focus on natural and organic ingredients. The event scale is particularly massive. It's 13 halls that are required to fit over 3,000 exhibitors from the Expo just passed in March 2024. The Expo gives us a clue as to what trends are incoming in the West. So with over 3,000 exhibitors, there really is a lot to cover. Hopefully the insights will provide some inspiration for you guys and give you ideas for you or your clients' product development. So to begin, we'll lead with 4 headline trends that really defined what was on offer at Expo West. The first trend is ingredients first. We really got the sense that brands and products were being built around an ingredient or an associated claim with those ingredients, first and foremost. The specifics of what the product will become might be second to the ingredient itself. And of those ingredients, collagen and mushrooms were the true heroes of the show, but there were plenty of new and novel ingredients also on display, which we'll have the opportunity to go into shortly. The second trend is permission to indulge. This trend is around indulgence. We know that sugar, salt, fat reduction has been around in the West for quite some time, but finding indulgent products that are equally healthy or better for you often feels like playing the lottery in terms of quality. At Expo West, indulgent health was really on the agenda. It's become increasingly apparent that brands are investing heavy R&D dollars into getting this balance right. This is particularly true in the breakfast, snacking, and confectionery space. In some cases as well, it almost felt like claim overload with some of these products. Brands were stuffing so many functional benefits into a product that they appear to be trying to capture as many functional benefits as they feasibly can. The third trend is hydrate me. Mouths really must be dry everywhere because hydration was also everywhere. It appears the focus on natural energy, which has been a trend for some years past, is now on the decline. And we've entered the hydration era where flavoured waters, sodas, and iced teas reign supreme. RTDs as a format sit high, but powder sachets mixed into water on the go are also proving a popular format in the space. And lastly, boldness prevails. This is not exactly related to the eating experience of the products on offer at Expo West, but I do work in marketing, and what was incredibly clear to me was that brands are really trying to find new ways to stand out in their packaging designs, and they're making a concerted effort to connect the dots between their product and their target consumer. In Australia, where I'm based, packaging designs have recently been leaning quite heavy on pastel colours and inoffensive curved fonts. At Expo West and across supermarkets through the USA, these designs were the minority, actually. So the question is, if everyone is loud and bold, do you still stand out? So looking at the products that did stand out, you couldn't really walk far through the halls before finding products laced with adaptogenic mushrooms. The novelty with these ingredients, for me at least, is that they're not approved for use in foods here. In the United States, we see brands making all kinds of claims about mushrooms like they're some kind of cure-all. You only need to look at the expansion of fridge space in supermarkets to see that RTDs are big business right now too. If it can be bottled or canned, put it in the fridge, say brands at Expo West. Functional RTD seems to be where it's at as well. So brands wanting to compete need to focus on the solubility of their products and dispersion as well. As a concept, greens aren't entirely new, but today they taste much better than the unpalatable earthiness that defined these products in years past. The new focus on getting your 5 serves of vegetables into your daily diet means that these greens products are finding their way into categories like bakery and snacking. And these are categories that consumers likely hadn't considered greens to appear in before. And lastly, women's health was high on the agenda as well. In an acknowledgement that women's health is often ignored or put to the sidelines over other issues, women-led brands and products targeting women are no longer accepting that idea as the norm. So these products are clear in their message and they're unashamed to say it loudly. This ensures that women are supported across all their needs and life stages. Let's take a look at some ingredients. It's been said many times throughout this presentation already, but collagen and mushrooms literally were everywhere across the halls. You really couldn't escape them. Biotics as well are incredibly mainstream these days, and oat and oat milk products owned the dairy-free space. In the United States, at least, brands do seem to be moving away from stevia, and I should say this is truly innovative brands who are on show at the expo, not necessarily supermarket brands as such. But you do get the sense that stevia is a bit of a dirty word, and brands are looking for other natural sweetening systems in natural products. So in other words, not necessarily high intensity sweeteners or sugar alcohols, but this could be fruit juice extracts or maple syrup, for example. And for the lesser known but emerging ingredient trends, we'll cover a number of these in slides to come, but the one I'd specifically like to call out is MCT. MCT is almost a macro trend, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if by next year it was as apparent as ingredients in the first list in products on the show. So what ingredients are trending? Taking a deeper look into the specific ingredients on display, they broadly fall into these categories. Over the coming slides, you'll see many products that contain combinations of these ingredients. And as product developers, it's worth paying attention to these ingredients as consumer understanding grows through familiarity. I will send this presentation out at the end, so I won't go into too much of these in detail. But these lists are a really great reference if you're looking for inspiration for ingredients to include in your product development. In terms of new and novel ingredients to watch out for, the ingredients on these lists are still considered novelties. Bonus points if you're familiar with some of the lesser known ones or hard to say ones, in fact. But I will go through some of the more notable ones highlighted. The first is Bambara groundnut. This is an African legume which closely resembles chickpea in appearance, but more like a peanut in flavour. It's very high in fibre. It's a good source of protein and overall a very healthy food for snacking or turning into milk. Cascara sagrada. Don't confuse this with cascara, which is the dried skin of coffee fruit and a byproduct in coffee production. Cascara sagrada is a herbal supplement commonly known for its laxative effect. More recently, brands are positioning it as a detoxification agent, although research is still a bit limited in this area. Chocho, and this is an ancient bean crop native to the Andes. It contains more protein than any other plant source on Earth, making it an excellent alternative to allergenic nuts. I think this one will really start to boom in years to come, especially as production increases and the cost of this ingredient comes down. Lastly, we've got sea moss. It's also known as red seaweed. Sea moss is a good source of iodine and it's full of vitamins and antioxidants, primarily used to target immunity, thyroid health, digestive, and joint health too. Sea moss is the unprocessed form of carrageenan, which some of you might be more associated with. It's a common thickening agent used in ice cream and dairy applications primarily. And when we look at the claims that were most apparent on packs, they mostly fell into four main categories, being overall and targeted well-being, allergen and dietary, mental health, and clean label and provenance. Again, this is not all the claims necessarily. These are just the ones that we took notice of because they appeared so frequently in products being shown at Expo West. So this is certainly not the be-all, end-all of trending claims. It's just an example of what's on display. With that said, you can make some assumptions that because these claims are so popular, that this is what the market is interested in. So you might be wanting to tie your research and development to some of these claims, perhaps. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, the next few slides will look at flavor profiles that most found their way onto packs. There's really not enough time to go through all of them, but as I said before, I'll send this presentation after the event. These flavor boards are a really great resource for your R&D work when you're looking for inspiration. I'd highly recommend keeping these close at hand when you need ideas. To very quickly go through the broad headlines, we had flavors that delved into beverage style flavors, tropical fruits, fruits just more in general, berries, citrus and floral flavors, indulgent flavors. If you remember to earlier in the presentation, indulgent really was a highlight of the show in terms of flavors on display. And yeah, this slide really gives you an idea of just how many indulgent flavor profiles are launching. We also have spicy, which is sweet and spicy flavors together. So this includes things like blood orange jalapeno and cardamom mango, for example. Plenty of brown flavors too. These are your traditional chocolates, coffees, and vanillas. We have global flavors and Mexican flavors, Asian flavors, and alcoholic flavors too. So many flavors, to be quite honest. So yeah, as I said, please do reference these flavor boards as needed. I think they're a really useful resource. So now we launch into the trends by category. And I'll focus on some of the products that we at Essential really loved and best represent these category trends as well. I've tried to capture major categories. If your category isn't necessarily covered within this presentation, do feel free to reach out to me, because this is just a small microcosm of the products on display. To give you an idea, we took over 1,000 photos of products at Expo West, and I'm probably featuring about 30 of them. So not everything could make it into this presentation. So yes, do reach out to me if you have more questions. The first category we'll look at is beverage. So we've covered most of the trends that appear on this slide already, and that's because beverage was so common at Expo West. Really, the only one I haven't called out yet is the idea of super waters. This includes plain water infused or plain water fortified with ingredients like, just fortified with ingredients. It could be alkalized or processed in a certain way as well. Here, what I'm really talking about is, say a watermelon infusion or a CBD infusion or something like that. It's a really interesting space and not something that I have particularly consumed in the past. But when brands are looking for more ways to get people to drink water, infusions is a nice way in for those who are perhaps a bit more reluctant to drink just plain water. So looking at some of the products that meet these trends, the first one on this list is Liquid Death. It's a relatively new brand. Remember when I called out bold packaging? I think Liquid Death is really quite unique in what it's doing. It's quite an edgy, no-nonsense brand, and this really comes through in all of its marketing, even down to its flavor names like Mango Chainsaw and Severed Lime. Ironically, though, you shouldn't be deceived by the skulls and crossbones and bold fonts on display. Liquid Death products are all sugar-free and mostly clean label, despite what you might think. To me, this packaging gives off energy drink vibes, and it's really not positioning itself as an energy drink, but more of a hydration drink. Parch, the second one, is a no-alcohol agave-based RTD inspired by the American Southwest. A portion of the proceeds from the sale of each beverage are returned to the desert communities from which it sources its ingredients, which I think is a really on-brand way to market your product. The last example here on this slide, hard kombucha. Hard kombucha is fast becoming the new battleground and a source for innovation in the fermented beverage space in the States. For the last couple of years, it's been believed that kombucha had reached the peak of popularity and it didn't have much space to grow. But by adding alcohol to kombucha, it's seemingly finding a new market. Kyla is just one example of a brand pushing the limits with its inspiring flavor concepts like lavender lemonade, as you see here, and yuzu coconut. Say So, this package on the left, is trying to win people over with convenience in the form of powdered cocktails that simply require cold water and optionally some spirits to finish. So for people who are turned off by the idea of purchasing a good number of spirits and liqueurs and mixers, to stock up their bar can now turn to brands like Sasson to very quickly churn out a cocktail. In the middle, we have a brand called Moss. Moss calls itself a wave of wellness, combining sea moss, there was that ingredient from before, and reverse osmosis water with flavour and sweetener, and plastic-free packaging to sell its ocean credentials. And the last brand here, Karma, uses a patented push cap that drops its active ingredients into the water at the time of consumption, which they say ensures the highest level of nutritional benefits, which would be lost if they were mixed into the beverage at the time of production. Next up, we have Radiate. Radiate uses patented marine collagen to benefit skin health in a sparkling RTD format, which is not the most common format here in the West. It also has some interesting flavour profiles, as you can see here, like lemonade thyme, green apple ginger, cool pineapple, and blueberry vanilla. No Days Wasted in the middle sits at the intersection of sports hydration and hangover detox with flavours made to entice plain water haters in a convenient powder sachet. And lastly, we have Refix on the right. Refix uses seawater, in fact. It's designed to restore mineral salts lost while consuming alcohol. The water as well is alkalized to combat acid buildup in the system. So they encourage this to be drunk before, during, and after drinking. It's a big ask in my opinion, but interesting nevertheless. The next category we're going to look at is tea and coffee. So we're really seeing cold brew tea specifically called out on pack as a nod to more impactful flavour delivery and less bitterness than hot brewing. It really is becoming increasingly popular as cold brew coffee has had its moment in the last few years. Mushroom and coffee were common bedfellows throughout the expo. We also saw tea and coffee leaning heavily into dessert and indulgent style flavors. Matcha has been around for a long time in the West as well, but we're now beginning to see brands experiment with matcha and other ingredients or flavors, which is more common throughout Asia. Bubble tea as a format is also booming in the West at the moment. This is creating a growing appreciation for traditionally Asian flavors. And we also see tea and coffee purporting other benefits around mental acuity, calling themselves brain drinks in some cases. So when we look at the products within the tea and coffee space, when you think of tea, your mind probably goes to tea leaves, tea bags. Increasingly common these days is powder. But these can all move along now because tea drops are the newest innovation in tea, which fully solubilize in hot water. They also have oat milk powder in them, which provides creaming. So it's truly an all-in-one beverage solution. Coffee has proven a strong companion to adaptogens, thanks to its naturally strong taste, which can help to disguise the bitterness of mushrooms. In Taker, the product in the middle, this RTD also uses MCT and macadamia milk for a fully packed functional experience. On the right, we have Four Sigmatic. Four Sigmatic calls itself the original mushroom coffee. It boasts a large range of adaptogenic blends for different moods and needs. This is just one example. It's lion's mane and chaga dark roast coffee. The first item on this slide is Teachino. Teachino is neither tea nor coffee. It's actually a blend of herbs, fruits, and nuts that are roasted and ground to brew like coffee or steep like tea. So it really can be consumed as either or, depending on what your preference is. Health tea RTDs in the middle are a clean label blend of water, maple, and lemon juice that draws on the power of botanicals for its tea-like flavour. You won't find any flavour in this brand of RTD. And last one here, we have Little Green Cyclo. These guys are on a mission to bring Vietnamese Robusta coffee to the world through classic and less traditional flavors. Arabica coffee is the most commonly consumed bean in the West. So Robusta is somewhat of a different profile for Western audiences. But this brand has been around for a long time, and they're really showing that there is a market for it. The next category we'll look at is frozen and chilled dairy. So particularly in the frozen and chilled dairy space, packaging is increasingly being designed to look luxury. When you pair this idea of luxury with the idea that dairy desserts are becoming healthier and consumers are being encouraged to eat the whole tub, it's a compelling offer for consumers who are likely going to become increasingly overwhelmed by enticing options in this space. And continuing the trend of taking things from Asia, mochi as a format is also fast becoming popular in the frozen dessert space. So Chobani leans heavily into this indulgent trend. Chobani is widely considered the market leader in the yogurt space in the United States. But Chobani has not traditionally been the healthiest brand. They do quite indulgent flavor profiles, but they are also quite high in sugar, making them more dessert than healthy snack. So this line of zero sugar indulgence options is quite compelling. They lean heavily into popular Western desserts like strawberry cheesecake and lemon meringue pie. Sweet kiwi in the middle here is pining for a spot in your freezer with healthy frozen yogurts. Greek yogurt, in fact, they come in bar and tub form, and they come with indulgent flavor profiles. Here we have raspberry frosé, but the range also includes other fruit and brown combinations too. And continuing the frosé theme, on the right here we have Jenny's. Jenny's offers not only this sangria style sorbet, but other inventive gelato flavors like bay leaf cheesecake, sweet potato marshmallow praline, and brandied banana brulee. Try to say that a few times. There really are some truly inspiring concepts and worth a longer look. If you're operating in this space and looking for gelato or ice cream flavor ideas, have a look at Jenny's website. They are really good. Next up, we have Talenti. Talenti is not just ice cream, it's a fully laid experience with syrups and inclusions that elevate your standard pint of ice cream. Marco's in the middle here. Ice creams of the world range, they really play up the provenance of the ingredients and profiles to celebrate flavors from around the world. And on the right here, we have Holly Scoops, which they call mood boosting ice cream. It's also keto. If ice cream isn't mood boosting enough already, they hope that by combining adaptogens, dairy-free, no sugar added ice cream, your mood is going to be higher than ever. So Portugal's Sui on the left show us that ice cream can still be indulgent even when you cut out most of the sugar. This is an example of their 90% less sugar range, but they also have 70% less as well. In the middle, 18 grams of collagen peptides and protein and probiotics. This pure culture RTD yoga kefir drink, combines functional ingredients to maximize its health claims. And on the right, we have mochidoki. Mochidoki leans in hard to the frozen mochi craze with flavors that are highly familiar to a Western audience. Um, it's brands like this that I see as really paving the way for better Western appreciation of Asian flavors. So grains, cereal, and snacking. We've got 6 trends here. No matter the time of day or need, snacks seem to be able to do it all these days. This is where the all-day functional trend comes into play. The standard positioning for snacks and cereals is good for you, or at least better for you than traditional brands. And from a flavor point of view, what's old is new again with nostalgia. Vegan products continue to reach into the mass market, which resonates particularly well with younger generations in the West. Good for you also means that brands need to clean up their labels, which means when you look at something like an edible shelf-stable cookie dough product, for example, this could be harder than it sounds. How do you achieve this with a clean label? That requires some development, I'm sure. But a brand like Doughy on the left here seems to have done it. Doughy is a healthy positioned, ready-to-eat cookie dough that's completely vegan, gluten and grain-free, and low sugar. It can be eaten raw like this, or you can roll it into a ball and bake it in the oven and eat it like a traditional cookie. It really does it all. Continuing the trend of healthy indulgence, Best Behavior is a cereal made from whey protein concentrate and rice flour. It has irresistible flavors that bring dessert to the breakfast table. And lastly, on the right, modeled on the ever famous Pop Tarts, legendary protein pastry is a high protein snack aimed at gym goers who still crave something sweet in their life. And you see this on the package, you see this increasingly major call outs to however many grams of protein and also carbs as well. This is a trend that we've been calling out for some time at Essential. And I think it will just continue to grow and force brands to consider how they market their protein content. On the left here, we have Mezcala. Mezcala takes inspiration from flavors of the world, but they actually go one step further. The designs on the packaging are all created by artists native to the locations that the flavors hail from. I did have the opportunity to taste these products and they were really exceptional. I think these guys are doing a great job. In the middle, mushrooms, they take on another new form in Mind-Right popped potato chips. This snack promises focus and energy in a healthy snack. Really shows that mushrooms can seemingly go into anything. On the right, oat milk, it's fast becoming the most popular alternative to dairy milk in chocolate. So when you see vegan or dairy-free chocolate, it's very possible that that product is going to contain oat milk. Seventh Heaven is fully vegan and it claims to be fully comparable with the taste and mouthfeel of real milk chocolate. So Sprout Living on the left, they boast not only almonds fortified with 5 strains of probiotics, but sprouted and activated almonds as well with reishi and chaga mushroom extracts, another product that seemingly wants to do it all. One of the more novel snacks we saw at the show, Asher Pops in the middle, use popped water lily seeds for a light and crunchy texture. Again, we have another oat milk chocolate snack. We loved Pocket's chocolate coated almonds for both their Asian inspired flavors and 100% real ingredients. This product was about as plain label as it gets. So we have confectionery. Vegan confectionery really is booming as a trend. So typically, gelatin is the standard gelling agent in gummies, but increasingly we're seeing pectin and starch and agar really come to the fore in this space, and also in the chocolate space. Again, dairy milk isn't necessarily the default option anymore. As technology improves, we're seeing more and better dairy-free or vegan chocolates on the market. Fruit itself is naturally vegan, and dried fruit is increasingly marketing itself as a novel treat compared to gummies as well. And brands are realizing that you can even add flavor to dried fruit to really enhance its appeal. We also see chocolates that are highly functional, chocolates that really do it all, and all in one-stop solution. So for brands that really hero these trends, the first one we have is Awake. Awake is for nighttime heroes. Each bar has 50 milligrams of caffeine and 70 calories per serve. These guys are really pitching themselves as an alternative pick-me-up to coffee, with people saying that they don't want to drink too many cups of coffee, or perhaps they don't like the flavor of coffee. In the middle, we have Lovo. Lovo is somewhat of a novelty in the dairy-free chocolate space because instead of trying to disguise its plant milk flavors, it wears them on its sleeve. It really makes the milks that feature in these products the hero. On the right, we have Malama mushrooms. These guys are a Hawaiian mushroom company that have slowly been putting their native Hawaiian grown mushrooms that are grown locally into all sorts of products, including chocolate. In this line of chocolate specifically, 8 different species of mushroom are packed into each chocolate bar. Looking at gummies, we have Veggie Bears. Veggie Bears uses a patented foaming technology to create a light and airy texture out of pectins and starch. In the middle, we have Choosy. So mood enhancing and confectionery seem to go hand in hand. Choosy uses GABA, L-theanine, taurine, and glycine to support a relaxed and focused state of mind. And representing the fruit as candy trend on the right, we have Patience Sour Cran. These guys up the excitement of typical dried fruit by adding flavor and acidity to liven up the experience. So we're getting through it. We're up to the health and wellness category. So in the wellness space, drinks are not just positioning themselves for sport, but for the mind too, calling themselves brain drinks. We increasingly see collagen appearing on pack, and collagen is going toe-to-toe with protein as a claim. Indeed, this seems quite sensible if sports supplement brands are wanting to market themselves more to women, as we've been seeing more and more. Again, indulgent flavor profiles really were everywhere, and we see this as an in for brands to spread their products to people of all life stages. So at the start of this presentation, you'll remember that we highlighted greens drinks as making a big impact at Expo West. Of all the brands showcasing greens on the floor, Bloom was by far the biggest, loudest too, and it tasted really great to boot. Had an exceptionally clean taste and particularly non-bitter or grassy or earthy. It really packed a lot in. Barley grass, spirulina, biotics, digestive enzymes, fiber, fruit and vegetables, antioxidants, adaptogens. The list really goes on. Bloom is really positioning itself as a one-stop health shop. In the middle, we have bubble tea but healthy. This brand, Lunar Lifts, really claims that bubble tea can be healthy. When you incorporate the flavors of bubble tea into whey protein isolate, they say any day can feel like a cheat day. On the right, we have Freshbell, a South Korean company, who are somewhat unique in that their marine collagen jelly sticks use real fruit concentrate and not a single drop of water. Nor do they use sugar or sweeteners in their product. The gelling agents here include agar and a combination of gums. Let's have a look at the women's health space. So first up, we have products for all needs and life stages, and Menawell is targeting specifically women in the 45 to 65 age bracket with their hormone support protein bars to help ease the symptoms of menopause. The second brand on display here is Mix Hers. Mix Hers was another of our favorite brands on the show. They unashamedly target women with highly targeted products for prenatal, PMS, libido, and more. This is a brand that is truly by women, for women. And on the right, we have Skinny Boost. Skinny Boost Beauty Collagen is not just collagen. It does claim the usual benefits of skin, hair, and joint health, which are commonly associated with collagen. It also boasts aminos, probiotics, vitamins, CMOS as well for a holistic health solution targeted entirely to women. There are also plenty of options for kids and young people too. We know that supplements for kids are a big and fast growing market as parents take a more active role in monitoring their children's developmental needs. Brainiac applesauce, which is the first brand here, isn't just applesauce. It also contains omega-3, choline, and vitamin C for developing brains. For toddlers, we have Cerebelli. Cerebelli Smart Bars boast 16 brain-supporting nutrients. They also have hidden veg, and no added sugar for a healthy lunchbox snack. And then on the right here, for adolescent women, Teen Queen vegan gummies help to moderate hormonal changes, low mood, anxiety, and changes to the body with ingredients like chaste tree, lemon balm, L-theanine, biotin, and probiotics. The last category we'll look at today is plant-based. So plant and nut milks have been around for quite a while now. As milk steaming becomes more commonplace in households in the West, brands are looking to win with milks that foam really nicely. Oat is truly mainstream now and leading the pack as far as dairy alternatives go. Brands are also looking to other nuts and even beyond nuts for milk alternatives and really using the natural flavor of these ingredients as a selling point rather than flavoring them. That's not to say that they're not flavored either. In this first example, we have a brand called Kunana. Kunana upcycled banana milk is a really interesting product that we found at Expo West. It's an Ecuadorian milk product made from the bananas that supermarkets don't accept. You may or may not be able to see it on the pack, but the taste is surprisingly not banana-y, and it's fortified as well with chickpea protein. How they make it taste not like banana, not entirely sure. In the middle, while hazelnut, macadamia, and other nut milks are becoming more common, PKN seems to be one of just a few examples of pecan milk creamer on the market at this moment. Again, leading into this unsweetened, unflavored trend, they have both a unsweetened version and a sweet vanilla too. And on the right, we have a product made from that Bambara ground nut. So Bambara milk is even more novel, but it's part of a growing family of products that uses this interesting ingredient. The brand What If imagines a world where only regenerative I can't even say that word, regenerative crops form part of our diet. We've already focused on a good deal number of oat products in this presentation, but I cannot stress enough how ubiquitous oat-based products are in the United States today, and more broadly in the West. Here are three more examples just to highlight this ubiquity. The first example is Doughlicious, a non-dairy cookie dough and gelato. In the middle, we have a Sencha oat milk matcha latte using oat milk latte. And lastly, we have healthy RTD mushroom teas, all made with oat milk. So with all of that said, that brings us to the end of the content. As I said, there really was so many products on display that we simply didn't have time to feature in this presentation.